The lights of station burned bright against the endless black of space. Millions of beings from hundreds of worlds had gathered here for one reason. They came to watch the fights. The arena sat at the heart of the station like a beating metal heart. It was old. Some said it was older than most civilizations that now filled its seats. The walls were made of dark stone brought from a dead world. The floor was smooth and cold. Blood of many colors had stained it over the centuries. Stood in a small room beneath the arena, he could hear the crowd above him. The sound was like thunder that never stopped. He was not a tall man. He was not heavy with muscle like the warriors he had seen on the screens. He was lean and quick. His hands were wrapped in simple white cloth. His feet were bare. He was 32 years old. He had grown up in the narrow streets of where the ocean wind carried the smell of fish and rain. He had learned to fight there, not in schools, not with teachers. He had learned in alleys and parking lots and behind restaurants where men settled their problems with fists. A guard came to his door. The guard was not human. It had gray skin and 4 eyes that blinked at different times. It looked like he was already dead. "Human," the guard said, "it is time." Nodded, he did not speak. He had learned long ago that words were wasted before a fight. He followed the guard through a long tunnel. The walls were wet. The air smelled like rust and something else, something alive and afraid. The tunnel opened into the arena and the sound hit like a wave. Thousands of voices screamed and roared. Beings of all shapes filled the seats that rose up and up until they touched the ceiling far above. Some had scales. Some had fur. Some had no faces at all. They had come from every corner of the galaxy. And they were all looking at him. Walked to the center of the arena. The floor was cold under his feet. He looked around slowly. He had fought in many places. He had fought in cages. He had fought on concrete. He had fought on grass wet with morning dew. But he had never fought in a place like this. On the far side of the arena, a massive door began to open. The crowd grew quiet. Then slowly, they began to chant a name. The champion stepped out. Had seen pictures of. He had watched videos of his fights, but nothing had prepared him for seeing the in person. Was enormous. He stood almost 3 meters tall. His body was covered in thick plates of natural armor that looked like stone. He had 4 arms, each one as thick as his entire body. His face was flat and wide, with small eyes that burned with a deep red light. The people were warriors. They had been fighting since before humans had learned to make fire. Their bones were dense. Their muscles were layered 3 times thicker than any humans. They felt pain, but they did not fear it. To them, pain was just information. Walked slowly to the center of the arena. Each step shook the ground. He stopped 10 meters from and looked down at him. The champion's mouth opened, showing rows of flat teeth made for crushing. "This is what they send." The voice was deep and rough. "This small thing." The crowd laughed. The sound filled the arena like poison. Did not move. He did not speak. He just watched. High above the arena floor, in a private box made of glass and gold, Ambassador sat with her hands folded in her lap. She was 53 years old. Her hair was gray at the edges. Her eyes were sharp and missed nothing. Around her sat the representatives of the Empire. They were smaller than but built from the same stone-like flesh. They wore robes of deep purple. They smiled with their flat teeth. "Your fighter is very brave," one of them said. His name was Dorn. He was the voice of the Empire in this sector. Brave and foolish. Did not look at him. She kept her eyes on, small and alone on the arena floor. "Perhaps," she said. "No one has ever struck," Dorn continued. "In 30 cycles of fighting, thousands of challengers from dozens of worlds, not one has touched him. He is too fast, too strong, too perfect." "I have heard the stories," said. "And still you send this human." Finally turned to look at Dorn. Her face showed nothing. "He volunteered," she said. The representatives laughed. It was a harsh sound, like rocks grinding together. Then he has chosen his death, Dorn said. When kills him, the trial will be complete. Your people will leave this sector. The treaty will be void. This is the law. Nodded slowly. She understood the law very well. They had used it for centuries. When they wanted something, they demanded a trial by combat. They always won. Their champions were unbeatable. Humanity had only been part of the galactic community for 40 years. They were new. They were weak. They had no great warriors, no ancient fighting traditions respected by the older races. When they demanded the rich mining colonies in the outer systems, they had every reason to believe humans would simply give up. But humans did not give up. That was the one thing about them that confused the galaxy. Down on the arena floor, the announcer's voice filled the space. It spoke in a language that all beings could understand. The trial will now begin. The rules are simple. Fight until one cannot continue. There are no weapons. There is no time limit. There is only victory or defeat. Rolled his massive shoulders. His 4 arms spread wide. He began to bounce slightly on his thick legs, warming up muscles that could crush metal. Stood still, he breathed slowly, in and out, in and out. The announcer continued. Before the fight begins, the traditional greeting must be observed. Both fighters will stand at rest for 3 seconds. This shows respect for the ancient ways. A bell rang out across the arena. The sound was clear and pure. Straightened his body. He placed all 4 arms at his sides. His head bowed slightly. This was the way. This was how warriors showed honor before they destroyed each other. The crowd fell silent. 3 seconds of perfect stillness. It was tradition, it was sacred, it was the law. Watch close his eyes in the ritual pose. And smiled. He had never cared much for tradition. 3 days before the fight, had stood in a room full of scared people. The meeting was held on Earth, in a building made of glass that looked out over the ocean. The sun was setting, painting the water in shades of orange and red. It should have been beautiful, but no one in that room cared about the view. "We cannot win this fight," said General Park. He was an old soldier with white hair and tired eyes. "They are stronger than us, faster than us. Their champion has never been touched. What chance do we have?" The room was silent. Around the table sat the leaders of Earth's government, men and women who made decisions for billions of people. They looked at each other with fear in their eyes. "If we refuse the trial," said another voice, "they will take our colonies by force. We do not have the ships to stop them." "Then we lose either way," Park said. Listen to them talk. She had been listening for an hour, the same words going in circles: fear, defeat, surrender. She was tired of it. "There is another option," she said. The room turned to look at her. Was not a general. She was not a politician. She was a diplomat. Her job was to talk to aliens and try to make peace. Some of the people in the room did not think she should even be there. "What option?" Park asked. "We fight," said simply. "We send someone into that arena and we fight." "With what?" Park's voice was sharp. "Our best soldiers have watched the videos. Moves faster than any human can react. His armor can stop bullets. His strength can tear metal. Who do we send against that?" Stood up, she walked to the window and looked out at the dying sun. "They are warriors," she said. "They have been fighting for 1,000,000 years. They have rules, traditions, honor codes that they follow without question." "And how does that help us?" someone asked. "Turn back to face them, because we do not have those things." The room was quiet. They did not understand. "Humans have been killing each other since we climbed down from the trees," continued. "We have fought with rocks and sticks and fire. We have fought with swords and guns and bombs. We have never stopped fighting, not once in our entire history." "They have fought longer," Park said. "Yes," agreed. "But they fight with honor. They fight with rules. They bow before combat. They wait for bells to ring. They follow traditions that are older than our species." She paused. "We do not." General Park leaned forward. "What are you saying?" I am saying that they have never fought a human before. Not really. They have seen us as weak, small, harmless. They have never seen what we become when we are desperate. The room was very quiet now. I know a man, said. He is not a soldier. He is not trained in any martial art that the galaxy would recognize. He learned to fight in the streets of my home city. He fought because if he did not fight, he would die. There was no honor in it, no rules, just survival. And you think this man can beat? Park asked. His voice was full of doubt. I think this man does not know how to fight any other way, said. I think he will do whatever it takes to win. I think he will not wait for bells or bow his head or follow any tradition that gets in his way. She walked back to the table and placed her hands flat on its surface. To think they are fighting a warrior. They are wrong. They are fighting a human, and humans do not fight to look good. We fight to survive. The next morning flew too. The city was loud and alive. Cars filled the streets. People shouted and laughed. The smell of food cooking drifted from every corner, had grown up here long ago. She knew these streets like she knew her own hands. She found in a gym near the old harbor. It was not a fancy place. The walls were cracked. The equipment was old. The air smelled like sweat and effort. Was hitting a heavy bag. His fists moved fast, faster than they should have for a man his size. Each hit made a sound like a gunshot. His face was calm, empty, like he was not even there. Watched him for a long time before he noticed her. You are, she asked. He stopped hitting the bag. He looked at her with dark eyes that gave nothing away. Who are you? My name is, I work for the government. Turned back to the bag. I have not broken any laws. I am not here about laws, said. I am here to offer you a job. Did not stop hitting the bag. I have a job. This job pays better. I do not need money. Nodded slowly. She had expected this. Men like did not care about money or fame or power. They had something else driving them, something deeper. You were in prison, she said. 8 years ago, you almost killed a man. His fist stopped moving. He did not turn around. He was hurting a woman, said quietly. In an alley behind a bar, she was screaming. No one helped her, so I did. You broke his arm in 3 places. You damaged his spine. He will never walk again. Finally turned to face her. His eyes were hard. He is alive, he said. That is more than he deserved. Saw something in those eyes, something cold and certain. This was a man who did not hesitate, who did not doubt, who did what needed to be done no matter the cost. I need someone to fight, she said. Not in a ring, not for points or trophies, a real fight, life and death. Against who? An alien, a champion. They say no one has ever touched him. Was silent for a moment. Then he smiled. It was not a warm smile. It was the smile of a man who had found something interesting in a boring world. Why me? Met his eyes without fear. Because I do not need someone who knows how to fight. I need someone who knows how to win. Someone who does not care about rules or honor or looking good. Someone who will do whatever it takes. Studied her face. He saw the truth there. This woman was not lying. She was not trying to trick him. She was desperate and she needed a monster. If I lose, he asked, then our people lose everything. And if I win? Thought about the question. What could she offer a man who did not want money or fame? If you win, she said slowly, you will be the first human to ever defeat a champion. You will prove to the entire galaxy that we are not weak, that we are not victims, that we are something else entirely. Thought about this. He thought about all the fights he had been in, all the blood and pain and broken bones. He had never fought for a reason before. He had just fought because it was all he knew. But this was different. This was a chance to show the universe what humans really were. When do I leave? He asked. 3 days later, he stood in an arena at the edge of the galaxy, watching the biggest creature he had ever seen close its eyes in ritual greeting. And he moved. The bell rang. Closed his eyes. His 4 arms dropped to his sides. His massive body became still as stone. This was the sacred moment, the 3 seconds of peace before the storm of violence. Every warrior had done this for 1 million years. It was as natural as breathing. Expected the human to do the same. All fighters did. It was the law of the arena. It was tradition. But did not close his eyes. He did not drop his hands. He did not become still. The moment the bell's sound touched his ears, he exploded forward. In the streets of there was no bell. There was no warning. When someone wanted to hurt you, they just attacked. They came at you from behind. They came at you in groups. They came at you when you were tired or drunk or looking the other way. Had learned this lesson with blood and broken teeth. The only advantage in a fight was surprise, and surprise only worked if you took it. Covered the 10 meters between them in less than 2 seconds. His body moved low to the ground. His feet barely touched the cold floor. Every muscle in his body was focused on one thing, hitting first. His eyes were still closed when the first blow landed. His fist struck the champion's throat, not the center of the throat where thick muscle and armor would protect. The side, the soft spot where the neck met the shoulder, where even armor was thin. The sound was sharp, wet. His eyes snapped open. Surprise filled them like water filling a cup. His brain had not yet understood what was happening. His warrior training had not prepared him for this. No one attacked during the greeting. No one, ever. But was already moving. His second strike came before could react. A precise hit to the nerve cluster under the champion's upper left arm. Had studied the videos for hours. He had learned where bodies were weak, where their armor did not cover, where a small human fist could do the most damage. The nerve cluster screamed with pain. His upper left arm went numb. It dropped to his side useless. The crowd was silent. No one breathed. No one moved. They were watching something impossible. His third strike was to the knee. The front of his knee was covered in thick armor, but the back was different. The back had to be flexible so they could walk. Drove his heel into that soft spot with all his weight behind it. His leg buckled just slightly, but it was enough. The champion was falling forward now. Not much, just a few centimeters, but his head was coming down, coming closer. His fourth strike caught his temple, the flat side of the head where the skull was thinnest, where even a small impact could shake the brain. His vision exploded into white light. His thoughts scattered like frightened birds. The fifth strike came to the center of the chest, not the armored front, the soft spot just below where the armor plates met, the place where kept their secondary heart. All 5 hits landed in less than 3 seconds. Finally reacted. His 3 working arms swung wildly, trying to grab the small creature that was hurting him, but was already gone. He had danced back out of range, light on his feet, his eyes never leaving the wounded champion. The crowd found its voice. The sound that filled the arena was not cheering, it was shock, horror, disbelief. He touched him, someone whispered. He hit him 5 times, another voice said. That is impossible. In the private box above, Ambassador allowed herself a small breath, just one. The fight was not over, she knew that, was hurt but not beaten. The champion was still standing, his eyes were clearing. The white-hot rage of a wounded warrior was replacing his confusion. Dorn sat beside her with his mouth hanging open. His gray face had gone pale. What is this?" he asked. The human did not follow the greeting, he broke the sacred tradition. Kept her eyes on the arena floor. Your rules said the fight begins at the bell. They said nothing about waiting. But the greeting is. The greeting is your tradition, said calmly, not ours. Dorn's hands gripped the arms of his chair. His small eyes burned with anger. This is not honor. This is not how warriors fight. Finally turned to look at him. Her face was as cold as winter ice. We never claimed to be warriors, she said. We are something else. Down on the arena floor straightened his body. Blood ran from his throat wound, dark and thick. His left arm still hung useless. His knee was weak. His head pounded with pain. But he was a champion. He had fought through worse. He had won battles with broken bones and torn muscles. Pain was just information. Pain could be ignored. He looked at the small human standing before him, really looked. For the first time, he did not see weakness. He saw something else. The human stood perfectly balanced. His hands were up ready. His eyes were empty of fear, empty of doubt, empty of everything except cold, focused intention. This was not a victim. This was a predator. Understood now, he had made a mistake. He had believed the stories about humans, small, weak, harmless, young race, no fighting tradition, easy prey. The stories were wrong. You did not follow the greeting, said. His voice was rough from the throat strike. You have no honor. Tilted his head slightly. When he spoke, his voice was calm and quiet. I did not come here for honor. I came here to win. Bared his flat teeth. In the old days before he was champion, he had fought dirty fighters before, creatures who did not follow the rules, who attacked from behind, who used tricks and lies. He had killed them all. Then let us see how you win against a who is ready for you, said. He moved forward, not the slow, confident walk from before. This was different. This was the movement of a predator who had finally recognized another predator. Fast, dangerous, deadly. His 3 working arms spread wide to block any escape. His massive legs pumped against the floor. The entire arena shook with each step. Watched him come. He did not run. He did not back away. He stood perfectly still, measuring the distance, counting the seconds, waiting for the exact right moment. In the streets of had learned another lesson. Sometimes you could not avoid a fight. Sometimes the enemy was bigger and stronger and faster. Sometimes they were going to catch you no matter what you did. In those moments, there was only one thing to do. Make them pay for every centimeter. Reached him. 4 arms became 3, became a cage of stone and muscle, closing around the small human form. And smiled. This was the part he was good at. His arms closed around empty air. Had moved, not back, not to the side, down and forward, sliding beneath the massive arms like water flowing around a rock. The champion felt something hit his inner thigh. Then again, then again. 3 precise strikes to the bundle of nerves that controlled his right leg. Pain shot up through his body like lightning. His leg trembled. It did not give out, not yet, but it trembled. Spun around with a roar that shook the arena walls. His good arm swept through the air, fast enough to shatter stone. It caught nothing. The human was already somewhere else. This was how fought, not with strength, not with power, with movement. Constant, endless movement, never in the same place twice, never where the enemy expected. The men who hurt him were always bigger, always stronger. There was no fair fight for a boy who weighed 60 kilograms against men who weighed 100. The only way to survive was to not be there when the fists came. Move, hit, move, hit, move, hit. Never stop, never rest, make them chase you, make them tired, make them angry. Angry men made mistakes. Was getting angry. The champion lunged forward, all 3 arms reaching, his massive body moving with surprising speed. He was faster than before. The pain was making him desperate. Desperate fighters were dangerous. But desperate fighters also forgot to defend. Ducked under the reaching arms and drove his elbow into side, into the soft spot between the armor plates. The same spot he had found in his hours of studying. The spot where a human elbow could reach what a fist could not. Grunted, it was not a sound of pain. It was a sound of frustration. The hit had done damage, but not enough, not nearly enough. The champion's tail swept the ground, had forgotten about the tail. It caught his ankle and sent him spinning through the air. For one terrible moment he was flying out of control, helpless. He hit the arena floor hard. His shoulder screamed. His vision went white at the edges. The crowd found its voice again. This time they cheered. Their champion was winning. The human was down. Everything was as it should be. Did not waste time with words. He brought his foot down where his head had been. But's head was not there anymore. He had rolled the moment he hit the ground, pure instinct. Years of street fights had taught his body to move without thinking. His shoulder was damaged, his ankle was weak, but he was alive. He came up on his feet 5 meters away, breathing hard. Turned to face him. The champion was hurt. His throat wound was bleeding faster now. His useless arm hung heavy at his side. His legs were not moving as smoothly as before. But he was still standing, still fighting, still dangerous. "You are fast," human said. "Faster than I thought, but you cannot kill me with small cuts. You are not strong enough." Said nothing. He was counting his own injuries. Shoulder damaged, ankle weak. Several ribs possibly cracked from the fall. He could still move, he could still fight, but he was running out of time. Big creatures could take damage and keep going. Small creatures could not. Every hit he took was worse for him than for. Every minute that passed was a minute closer to his body giving out. He needed to end this, now. In the private box, watched with cold eyes. She saw what the crowd could not see. She saw that was hurt. She saw that the fight was reaching its end, one way or another. Dorn was leaning forward in his seat, his eyes bright with bloodlust. "Your human is brave," the said, "but is right. He cannot win. He does not have the power to bring down a champion." Did not answer. She was thinking about something had told her back in that small gym inn. "I have never lost a fight," he had said. "Not because I am stronger, not because I am better, because I do whatever it takes." "Whatever it takes?" she had asked. He had looked at her with those empty eyes. "There is no such thing as a fair fight. There is only winning and losing. I choose to win." On the arena floor moved again, but this time he did not attack. He circled, slowly, carefully, watching, waiting. Turned to follow him. The champion's movements were slower now. The blood loss was affecting him. The nerve strikes were adding up. His body was beginning to fail. "Are you afraid now, human?" asked. "Are you finally understanding what you face?" Kept circling. His eyes never left center of mass. "I am thinking," he said quietly. "About what?" "About where you keep your brain." Laughed. It was a harsh, grinding sound. "My skull is thick as metal. Even with a weapon, you could not crack it." "I know," said. "I watched the videos. Nothing can break through the front of a skull." He stopped moving. He stood perfectly still, his body relaxed, his hands at his sides. "But the back is different." His eyes narrowed. The human was up to something. He could feel it. "Where the spine meets the skull," continued, "there is a gap, small, hard to reach, but not impossible." Felt something cold move through his chest. Not fear. Did not feel fear, but something close to it, something like respect. "You think you can reach my neck?" the champion asked. "I am 3 meters tall. You are barely half that." Smiled. It was the same cold smile he had worn before the first strike. "I do not need to reach your neck," he said. "I need you to bring your neck to me." He moved. Not away. Forward. Straight at, faster than he had moved before, ignoring the pain in his ankle, ignoring the fire in his shoulder. Reacted on instinct. His 3 arms came together, trying to catch the charging human. His body bent forward, ready to grab and crush. But was not trying to hit him. He dropped to his knees, sliding across the smooth arena floor like a stone across ice. He passed between his legs, beneath the reaching arms, behind the massive body. Started to turn, too slow, far too slow. His hands found the champion's tail. He grabbed it with all his strength and pulled, not hard enough to hurt her, but hard enough to make lose his balance. The champion stumbled forward. His damaged knee buckled, his body began to fall. And as head came down, was rising. His elbow came up like a rocket leaving the earth. Every ounce of his remaining strength was behind it. Every lesson from every street fight. Every moment of pain and fear and determination. The elbow struck the base of skull, the exact spot where armor met spine, the gap that should have been impossible to reach. The sound was terrible, wet and final. His eyes went wide, his arms stopped moving, his legs stopped working. The champion fell. He hit the arena floor with a crash that echoed off the walls. His body twitched once, twice, then was still. The arena was silent. Stood over the fallen giant, his body broken and bleeding, his lungs burning for air. But he was standing. And was not. The silence lasted for 10 heartbeats. Then the arena exploded. Voices screamed in 100 languages. Some were angry, some were afraid, some were laughing with pure, unbelieving joy. The sound rolled over like a wave, but he did not move. He stood over the body of the fallen champion, breathing slowly, waiting for his heart to stop racing. Was not dead, could see the massive chest rising and falling. Though was unconscious, his brain shut down by the strike to his skull, but he would live. Had been careful about that. Killing the champion would have made humans look like monsters. Defeating him made them look dangerous. There was a difference. Medical teams rushed onto the arena floor. They swarmed around like insects around a fallen giant. They did not look at, they did not come near him. They were afraid. Good thought they should be. In the private box above, Dorn sat frozen in his chair. His gray face had gone the color of ash. His small eyes were wide with something had never expected to see in a. Fear. Stood up slowly. Her face showed nothing. No joy, no relief, no triumph. She was a diplomat. She knew that this was not the end. This was the beginning. The fight is over, she said calmly. The trial is complete. Dorn's mouth opened and closed several times before words came out. He did not follow the traditions. He attacked during the sacred greeting. This is against the law. The victory must be void. Had been waiting for this. She had known they would try to change the rules. That was what powerful people did when they lost. They changed the rules. But she had been prepared. I reviewed the laws of the trial myself, she said. Her voice was ice. The rules state that the fight begins when the bell rings. They state that both fighters must remain in the arena until one cannot continue. They state that no weapons may be used. She paused. They say nothing about the greeting. The greeting is tradition, Dorn said. Everyone knows this. Tradition is not law, replied. And even if it were, your own records show that the greeting was introduced 200 cycles ago by the Fighting Council. Humans were not consulted. Humans never agreed to follow it. Dorn's hands gripped the arms of his chair, so hard they cracked. This is winning, said. Something your people thought they understood. She walked to the edge of the box and looked down at the arena floor. Was still standing there, alone, surrounded by thousands of beings who were only now beginning to understand what they had witnessed. For 30 cycles was undefeated, said. Thousands of challengers tried. Not one of them touched him. Do you know why? Dorn did not answer. Because they all followed your rules, continued. They all bowed during the greeting. They all waited for the champion to be ready. They all fought the way you expected them to fight. She turned to face him. My fighter did none of those things. Because he has no honor, Dorn spat. Smiled, it was not a warm smile. Because he fights to win, she said. That is what humans do. We do not care about looking good. We do not care about tradition. We do not care about what our enemies think of us. We care about survival, and we will do whatever it takes to survive. She walked toward the door of the box. The trial is complete, she said over her shoulder. Our people will keep our colonies. The treaty stands. If the Empire wishes to challenge this decision, they are welcome to request another trial. She stopped at the door and looked back. I wonder how many champions you are willing to lose before you understand that humans are not prey. Then she was gone. Hours later, sat in a medical bay on a human ship. Doctors moved around him, fixing his shoulder, wrapping his ribs, treating the dozen injuries he had gathered in the fight. He did not feel pain. He was too tired to feel anything. The door opened, walked in. She looked at him for a long moment. Her face was still calm, still controlled, but there was something else in her eyes now, something like respect. "You won," she said. Nodded slightly. "I know. The Empire is in chaos. They do not know how to respond. Their undefeated champion was beaten by a human half his size in less than a minute. Their whole view of the galaxy has been shattered." Said nothing. He did not care about the Empire. He did not care about galactic politics. He had done what he came to do. Sat down across from him. "What happens now?" she asked. Thought about the question. He thought about the arena and the screaming crowd and the feeling of his elbow striking skull. He thought about the streets of and all the fights he had been in and all the blood he had spilled. "Now they know," he said quietly. "Know what?" Looked up at her. His dark eyes were empty and calm. "The galaxy thinks strength is about size, about power, about following traditions and looking impressive." He shook his head. "They are wrong. Strength is about winning. Nothing else matters, not how you look, not what others think, only winning." He stood up, wincing slightly as his ribs protested. They have been winning for 1,000,000 years because no one ever challenged their way of fighting. Everyone accepted their rules. Everyone played their game. He walked to the window and looked out at the stars. Today, they learned that humans do not play games. We do not follow rules made by our enemies. We do not bow to traditions that do not serve us. Watched him carefully. "What do we do?" she asked. Turned to face her. "We survive," he said simply. "That is what we have always done. When the world was cold and dark, we survived. When the animals were bigger and stronger, we survived. When we discovered fire and weapons and ships that could cross the stars, we used them to survive." He walked past her toward the door. "The galaxy wanted to test humanity," he said. "They wanted to see if we were worthy of standing among the stars. They got their answer." He stopped at the door. "Tell them this. Tell all of them. Humans do not fight with honor. We do not fight with tradition. We do not fight fair." His voice was quiet but carried the weight of a species that had clawed its way up from nothing. "We fight to win, and we will never, ever stop." He left the room. Sat alone for a long time, thinking about what she had seen, about what it meant, about what came next. The galaxy had changed today. The old order had cracked. The ancient powers had seen something new, something unexpected, something that scared them. They had seen humanity. Not as victims, not as prey, not as a young race playing by the rules of their elders. They had seen humanity as it truly was. Survivors, fighters, winners, and the galaxy would never forget it. Far away, on a station at the edge of known space, a message spread from ship to ship, from world to world, from species to species. It carried the video of the fight. It carried the image of a small human standing over a fallen giant. And it carried a warning. They said no one had ever struck him. The human landed 5 before he even realized the fight began. Remember this, remember what they are. And never make the mistake of thinking they will play by your rules.